Hey everyone, it has been such a long time. How are all of you doing? I'm very excited to be making videos again. I only have one video up anymore because I'm going to be revamping my YouTube channel because today, as you see in the title, it's going to be about anxiety, and I'm really excited to see what this conversation brings us. Have you ever had that feeling of when you're going down the stairs, you skip a step, you have that moment of what just happened, like your breath kind of like draws back and like your heart flutters and then you like calm down? Or for instance, if you're walking on the street and you think there's someone behind you and you turn around and you're like, you're freaking out because you're by yourself and it's dark at night. Well, that's basically what people with anxiety feel 24/7. It's a very awful feeling, and I'm going to describe in specifics what specific anxiety disorders can be, and then I'm going to tell you how you can help people in those specific situations in case you get around someone who's panicking or freaking out and you think they're just being dramatic. I promise they're not. It is in fact an anxiety disorder. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. There is one type that is called generalized anxiety disorder. So these are people who are considered worrywarts. I mean, not everyone who's a worrywart has anxiety, but these are the people that they seem like they're no fun. Like the smallest thing freaks them out. Like, oh, why? Like, you're not doing that right. Or they're always like freaking out about something that's so trivial, and it's annoying to an extent. It really is. But imagine being on the other end of that, where it's a trigger that goes off in your mind if your car isn't the right color that you wanted, or your plans didn't go the exact way that you wanted them to go, or something small, or something as big as like you don't know what's going to happen within your family, or something's going to go on that's not in your control. I mean, it's those small and big things today that these people focus on all the time. And I'm not going to lie, I have a very small portion of that in my anxiety. It is annoying because it'll be the smallest thing and I'll be like, no, and I'll like freak out on someone, and people think I'm dramatic, and I know people think I'm dramatic, but that's not what it is. Like, I'm genuinely worried about something. There's also anxiety attacks, which is panic disorder, which is specifically what I have, and that is over time I'll randomly have a panic attack where for me it's like I get really itchy. It feels like I'm crawling out of my skin, like I can't have control over it, and people tell me to calm down and tell me that I need to stop and I need to take a deep breath, and that's not the reality of it, because I'll also probably stop breathing. I'll be like help me, and I'm like crying deep tears, and I'm like pushing people away. Like people try to hug me to calm me down, and like don't touch me. I also have gotten so bad that I've thrown up. I mean, my panic attacks for me have been pretty bad. This is something that I've noticed go up in the amount of friends that I have. Like, some of them, when I first met them, did not have these anxiety attacks, but after I got to know them a little bit, they did. And it was like a common thing that I would be like, it's okay, and I would count to 10 with them. So, it's kind of a serious thing, and this is something that can actually happen to anyone. So with that being said, there's also OCD, which is something that people like to joke about and say, oh, the OCD in me doesn't like that. But it's an actual very serious thing. It can be very mild, or it can be very, 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 very bad. I'd say the best example of this in myself, because my anxieties all kind of like go together, is I can't clean my room because to me it's organized chaos. But if I'm cleaning something outside of my room, for instance, when I'm cleaning at work, it takes me 45 minutes to just sterilize the toys and the tables and all that stuff. And even then I'm not done. And it has to go in exactly the same place. And that's just cleaning. Sometimes I'll like clock out and then I will forget that I clocked out, and I'm going to turn to the person next to me and be like, did I just clock out? And like I almost like have to do it again. Sometimes it's like I itch my ear and it's perfectly fine, but I for some reason think that there's an itch. I'm going to keep itching it until I think that I got it. Or doing my hair, I sit in the mirror for, I want to say, an hour and a half just getting ready in general, doing makeup and hair and everything. And I mean, like, it has to be perfect. I'm looking in the mirror like very close, and I'm like, and I know that a lot of people say that they do this, but it's to a point where it's very obsessive, and I'll sit there and I'll talk about it. There's also phobias, which are weird fears, like things that wouldn't typically be a fear or like isn't as well known. There's also social anxiety disorder, which is the debilitating fear of being in social situations. And there's also post-traumatic stress disorder, which again I have, and it's after traumatic events happen. It's something that's very common in people who come out of the military, veterans, people who are still in the military, but a lesser known fact is that it can be anyone. In order to help people who get anxious, and by this I'm specifically talking about people who have panic attacks or people who are just freaking out in general, the worst thing you can do is say calm down, or try to hug them, or try to confine them, or tell them to shut up or get in their face and yell. Don't ever do that. The best thing that I've learned, and this is something that's been going on since I was 3, like when I used to throw temper tantrum and stuff, it is kind of like that. It's like if the kid's throwing a temper tantrum, you have to get them and you say, all right, count with me. You go 1 in a very calming voice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, until they start counting with you. And you keep repeating it until they calm down enough to count with you. Another thing that really helps me is if I try to like force myself to lay down and I drink water. For some reason, drinking water helps me so much. If you're in the right circumstances and you can get it like on a loudspeaker, it helps to, like, if someone will just like put on some soothing music, and then like you have that like soothing effect, and even if you're not really going to be paying attention to it at first, like as you're calming down, it helps so much more. If there's a ton of noise around you and there's a ton of people telling you to basically shut up and that you need to stop being dramatic, that does not help at all. And I mean, I know many people who have had anxiety attacks and they don't have anxiety, but you know, something made them anxious and they like freaked out, and they looked at me and they're like, Haley, like, how do you know these things? Like, how do you know how to calm me down? Like, that's really weird. And I was like, no, like, it's something that I've suffered with my entire life. So, with that being said, that is the end of my video. I hope that I was able to hold your attention the entire time. My goal is to make at least 1 video a month. That is the minimum. And I'm so excited for the videos I have planned. I want this to turn into a weekly thing, but first of all, I have to save money, you know, because I have bills to pay, and, you know, this isn't my career yet, and so I have to save money, and I want it to become a weekly thing, and, you know, like, in order to get money, and in order to get this to reach a ton of people, it needs to be good content, and so I want it to be good content by buying good equipment. So anyways, and I'm still teaching myself how to work electronics, so with that being said, go ahead and give this video a like down below. Please hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment of different videos that you would like me to look into making, different things that you would like me to teach myself about so I can help teach other people. I'm all for suggestions. I'm also all for talking to anyone if they need any help. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a magical day, and I look forward to coming back to this website.